somebody who travels across, crisscrosses this nation, and can really sense the national movement building on the death penalty. I was just in Oregon, and there we recently had Governor Kit Tabor just say moratorium, no more executions, because he's a man of conscience. The last time he was governor, there were 2 consensual executions, and he let them happen. And he said, "I regret that I did that." I quoted, "All the people wanted, it's the law." And so there was another man, Gary Hagen, who was up for execution. And he said, "The only time we are using the death penalty in Oregon is when we have consensual executions." And he looked and he, like so many people are saying, the people on death row are there for terrible crimes, but you can see people with life sentences that did crimes just as terrible. And he said, this whole thing is inequitable and it's compromised, and I'll no longer have any part of it. And he's a very popular governor. They're pretty sure it's going to stick. The polls show that people in Oregon, a lot of them don't even know they have the death penalty. And we can see the wave building. You know, New York first did away with the death penalty. Their Supreme Court helped them do it. Then there was New Jersey. Then there was New Mexico. Then there was Illinois. Now there's Oregon. And you can see happening across the country beginning in 2001, less death sentences pursued. There's not as much enthusiasm for the death penalty. The people now know the thing doesn't work. And as Steve was saying, the states that have the death penalty have roughly double the homicide rate of states that don't. I just came from California. They're having a campaign, a ballot initiative. They have a T-shirt that shows the scales of justice, and they have cost. Cost is a big thing. 1 execution and 5,992 police officers. Their death penalty is extremely expensive because of the legal machinery they have in the whole thing. And people are figuring it out. I used to think cost and money was a practical consideration. It wasn't a moral argument about the death penalty. But Martin Luther King used to say the most moral document you ever look at is a budget. And how's North Carolina spending its precious resources? And we can all see the cuts coming down on health care and at-risk kids and Head Start. And to have a death machinery in place for the state to take human life. Juries are playing a role in this too. Now they're much clearer that they have an option of life without parole, and they're not choosing death. And so we can see in the religious community, my own Catholic church, a dialogue for over 20 years. And we just had Pope Benedict, who hasn't been as strong and outspoken as Pope John Paul was up to last week, where he encouraged Catholics everywhere to get involved with legislative processes and the political process to end the death penalty, because it's against life. And people want to choose life. And North Carolina is no exception. There's not much enthusiasm for the death penalty. I've been talking to the American public for over 20 years. It's not that people have thought deeply about the death penalty and decided they wanted it. They never think about it. It's not a moral issue that touches most people personally. So I'm glad to be here with the other religious leaders of getting people in the churches. Who's got a better incentive to choose life? The Catholic Church has begun now to put the death penalty in with the other pro-life issues. It's about the dignity of life, not just innocent life, but even people guilty of terrible crimes, because it involves us then in the killing of them. The death penalty is really about us. I applaud this effort, glad to be part of it, and I wish you well in it. Thank you.